What's up guys? Today's a really exciting day. I'm going to be finally removing the X-Reas system from my 4Runner Limited here, and I'll be putting in a suspension lift by Old Man Emu. It's a 3-inch lift along with upper control arms by JBA. In this video I'll show you how to remove the X-Reas system. For those of you that do not have a 4Runner Limited, say you have the SR5, the Trail, the TRD Pro, you can still follow this video, just skip the X-Reas part. All 5th gen 4Runner suspensions are essentially the same. But yeah, let's remove this X-Reas and get the suspension in. Alright, so first thing we want to do is get our vehicle up in the air. All 4 tires need to be up off the ground. That way we depressurize the X-Reas system. So before we get up in the air though, we'll loosen all these lug nuts and start removing the system. Alright, so I've gone around and I've loosened the lug nuts on all 4 tires. Now I'm going to get the vehicle up in the air. There are jack points. I'll put a picture up on the screen here so you can see where the correct jack points are. And then I'll put my jack stands under there. Alright, so I got my jack stand in the correct location here. And now I can take away my actual jack. Then we'll move to the back of the vehicle. All right, so to jack up the back, I went under my differential here, used a block and the jack, jacked up, and then put my stands right before the trailing arm that comes to the back. All right, so the vehicle is jacked up in the air now. Come around under here. You can see where I've set my jack point up. This is the cross member, it's right in front of the cross member. And then rear jack point here is right before the trailing arm. And I had to use 2 blocks with my jack stands, they're just not quite long enough. And before you jack up the back of your vehicle, make sure that you block your front tires. Because once you raise the back, the front could move and then the whole vehicle would come down on the ground. That would not be good. So. Alright, so I'm under the vehicle here, and I have my control absorber, and I'm going to disconnect the lines. Apparently if you do it this way, you're not supposed to lose much fluid, so let's give this a shot. I am going to go grab some safety goggles though first. Alright, so I have a 17 and a 12 here, and I got my safety goggles on, so let's get these lines disconnected. Okay, so I'll pop my 17 on here, and my 12. To this end. And I'll just crank away. And I am losing some fluid. Alright, time to get the drain pan. Alright, so even with the vehicle up in the air, all 4 tires in the air, I am still losing fluid from the system. Some people report that they don't lose fluid. I think maybe those people already have a leak in their system and that's why they're replacing it. I think what I'll do is I'll just basically scrap the system. I'm not going to try to maintain any of the fluid anymore in the system or anything like that. I'm just going to get the system off the vehicle and install the new suspension. Alright, so I've unattached the line here and I'll follow it along and just pop these tabs out. Front, and I'll have to take this bracket off here. It's just holding this line and protecting it in the wheel well. So once I remove, it looks like a 12 millimeter, then I'll pop this line out and follow it along. Great, so yeah, it was a 12 millimeter bolt. Now, now that bracket is off, pop that line off. Okay, so I've removed this line from the bracket and I've reinstalled the bracket. Now I'm going to go under the vehicle and we're going to disconnect the lines as they go across the vehicle. So grab my tool here. So this line comes around and it actually goes to the driver's side front shock. So basically what it does is the system is attaching the right or the passenger rear wheel to the driver's side front wheel, and the other side is the opposite. So the driver's side wheel, front wheel, is attached to the passenger side back wheel. Loose. So because the two front shocks cross over and go to the rear, they kind of cross over each other, so both of these lines are now loose. We come around here, we have that same bracket that's encasing the hydraulic line which goes to the back rear shock. So I'll remove this and pop this out. This is a 12 millimeter again, so yeah, we'll get that loose, then come back and then we'll follow the line down, pop these out as we go, and disconnect here again and make sure that we have a drain pan below and safety goggles on because these are hydraulic lines. All right, so while the lines drain there, I'm going to remove the center control absorber. So I believe that these are 12 millimeter bolts as well, so the actual bracket here looks like it has a 12 mil on the bottom and a 12 mil on the top. Great. All right, so we got that line off now. Center control absorber is disconnected. All right, so we will just continue following it back and popping those clips off. Now this line here is connected to the passenger side front shock and the rear. So I'm going to follow the line back to the driver's side rear shock. Great, so it looks like we have, so this is our rear shock, the line comes around and it's connected here. All right, so you can't really see, but there is a bracket back here. This is attached to a bracket, so I can't actually move this line right now until I undo the bracket. I do have a 12 mil on. It's a little tricky, you gotta kind of squeeze your wrench in there, but once you're on it, start loosening it, and this line should come off. And then there's one more bracket there that would have to come off, and then we have a rear shock. All right, so I got the 12 mil bolt off, which is holding this bracket in here on. Now I'm gonna come up and get this one. All right, so I got one whole side off now. I disconnected the line of the bracket at the front passenger side, followed it around through the front underneath the cross member there, all the way along the back to the center control absorber, which is here. And then we continue to follow it back and we remove those two brackets here in the back. And so we have the first bracket there and the second bracket. Here's our rear shock. So once we remove this, we'll have this whole piece kind of intact. You know, you probably could add fluid in and reuse the system. Personally, I don't think that's ever going to happen for me, so I'm just going to probably scrap it and throw it in the garbage along with the shocks. I don't know. It's shocks wear out. It's a super expensive system to replace. I couldn't see myself trying to put fluid back in it and reuse it, so yeah, just going to scrap it. When I was taking off the center control absorber on the passenger side, I found it kind of difficult to get to the top bracket bolt. So what I had to do is take off, there's 3 nuts on this center control absorber you can remove here. Once those nuts are off, you can actually pop it right off of the bracket, which is right up here. And it gives you better access to removing the actual bracket itself, these 2 nuts here. All right, just a little tip on the passenger side there. All right, great, so I got the center control absorbers off on both sides now, and I've unattached all of the brackets that are holding the lines on. Now we're basically gonna disconnect the line from the actual shock here. So this nut that fits in here is a 12 millimeter, so let's loosen that, and then the whole line should just basically come out. Before I do that, I'll make sure I have my safety goggles on, and also I will grab my oil collection tray here so we don't get anything on the floor. Great. There we go, our line is unattached. Now let's see if we can slide this whole setup out of here. Great, so there we go. Center control absorber comes along. This is where it attaches to our shock. It's now out. Great, so now that we have both of the center control absorbers off on the driver and passenger side and all the lines going back to the shock, all we have now is just a few hard lines running to the front shock here. So these lines that we removed, remember we took it from behind this bracket. That one's going over to the driver's side, and then the line on the opposite side crosses over and hooks up here onto the driver's side shock, or the passenger side shock. The connections for these are just right here. So once we remove those connections on both sides, we should be able to slide the lines out, and then the X-Reas system is pretty much completely removed except for the shocks. All right, definitely make sure you have a drain pan underneath that, the front shocks as you remove those nuts. They do seem to leak a lot more than the rear. I think it's just the way that the hydraulic line is attached. It's attached to the bottom, so everything in the shock is going to drain out. So I've just popped the pan under there. We'll let that drain out while I do the other side. All right, I got my drain pan under here, and I'm doing the driver's side now. As you can see, it's leaking like a sieve. Fortunately, got my pan. All right, so while these drain, I'm gonna come and loosen up these brackets. We got, I think these are the final brackets that I need to remove, but if you see here, we remove this line from the bottom of the shock, follow it along, and we just have a bracket here, which looks like it's attached to the front of the frame rail. So we got a bolt there, and then it should come loose. All right, so once you've disconnected the hard line from the bottom of the shock body, here on the driver's side, I just did it. I've removed the bracket. I found the best way to get the lines out intact is to just kind of slide them through. I had to get under the vehicle and just kind of move it and jimmy it around, and you're just gonna pull it through and push it through and kind of work around a few obstacles, and then the line should just come out on its own. So we got the line here, disconnected it, and then you're gonna want to push it around. And it's good to visually look and see what it's getting caught up on, and just kind of move it around, and you should be able to push it through. Yeah, almost got it there. It's tough while holding a camera, but if I use my other hand, I'll just pull it through here. Just a moment. All right, so the line here from the driver's side there, we just pushed it through. It came under the car once it came loose. Just follow it along. So since it is the driver's side, it's going to the rear passenger. So if you follow this line along, it comes under and it comes out here. So Same kind of thing, we just want to jimmy it around and move it, and it should slide through on top of this frame rail and out under the passenger side wheel well. All right, so there you have it. That just came from the driver's side. I'm on the passenger side now, but it crosses over and then it goes to the back. So this was attached here, and that went all the way to the rear shock. So this was connected to the driver's side front, and it went all the way to the passenger side rear. So that's it. So that's one whole side disconnected. I'll do the opposite side, same thing, and pull those lines out. I think if I wanted to, I could probably reuse this system. I didn't have to hack anything or cut anything open. I kept all the brackets. Everything seems like it's sealed and intact. I did lose fluid. I think there is a way that Toyota could recharge the system. I'm definitely not going to be doing that. I definitely won't be using this system again. The shocks just have too much wear on them now. They're at 80,000 K. So yeah, I'm just going to toss it. But that is the X-Reas removal. It's really not that hard. It is a full-on mechanical system. There's no electronics connected to it. So removing the system isn't going to affect your computer or anything. You won't throw any codes. It's solely mechanical. They do have a life just like everything else, and they do fail. They fail very often, so that's how to remove it. And now I can go forward and put my suspension lift on the vehicle along with those JBA upper control arms.